Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk a little bit about side quests. Side quests in games, side quests in life, and how those two concepts connect. I'm not the biggest gamer at the moment, but when I was, I used to love open world games where you could kind of design whatever character and create whatever story that you wanted. There was a main storyline, but there was also external storylines that you can go on, and then they'll affect that main storyline, and every decision that you make all the way down the game changes the final outcome of the game. Those were my favorite games. I think that could be because I liked to be unique. I liked to express myself. They felt like creative games to play. But I also imagined that there was something else that was happening, because I was younger when I was playing these games. I was, in my adolescent years, and they were probably preparing me for life in some sense. Because these games are probably the closest that you can get to real life, where life doesn't have level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's as simple as that. Life is a lot more open and unpredictable in how it happens and unfolds. And so in the positive sense, right, you have these side quests, which is something that people have picked up on culturally, and people who don't even play games are talking about this notion of a side quest as if it's something that everybody understands. And it's because there is an intuitive understanding that there's a main quest, there's a place that you're destined to go, there's choices that you can make that will progress you further through your main storyline. But then there's also these other optional things that are on the side, that are experiences that can enrich your life. They can bring new possibilities, they can bring you new items, and they can upgrade your skills. And they are necessary in many games, because if you just do the main storyline and that's all you're interested in, then you can find yourself too weak to push forward. There's a boss that you just can't beat because you haven't gone on enough side quests. You haven't expanded your character. You haven't enriched your experience. And so there is definitely a necessity for side quests in life. And if you're just focused on the main story of your life, it might be time for you to go on some side quests, do some different experiences, kind of help out some random people and develop these things that don't feel super related to where you want to be, but they are options that you can take, and you can jump into those and you can dive into those and then come back to your main story, and you'll feel stronger, you'll feel more capable, right? And at their best, well balanced, side quests are amazing, necessary, I love them. But I'm in a position where I've been playing, I played a little bit of main quest, right? I opened up the world. Now I can explore. I can do whatever I want, right? Like, I can go on this quest over here. I can help this person over here. I can do this. I can do that. I can do everything. And I just want to explore. But then you find yourself killing chickens. You find yourself running over random people in GTA, right? Just kind of messing around. You find yourself in limbo. And that's what happens in life, where you just kind of get comfortable. You get in this comfort zone. You get in this place where I don't really want to go on the main story. I don't really like this quest that I have to do to get to the next level. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to mess around. But you'll never get to the cooler parts. You'll never get to the expanded story if you just avoid that main quest and you just keep taking all these little side quests, right? And I think part of the issue is that in these games, you have this quest log. And it's nice that you talk to someone in a game. A possibility opens up, save my daughter from the trolls, right? And then it goes, boom, new quest unlocked. And now you got save Jerry's daughter from the trolls. It'd be cool if life was like that, right? Where you have this immediate update where it gets written down in your quest log of all these things that all these people have asked you to do. But unfortunately, they don't live in a to-do list. They don't live on paper. They don't live in any kind of database that lists everything. They live in the back of your mind. And unless you write them down and you put down every quest that you've been asked to go on, then you can't really take an external perspective, and you start to get lost in the side quests, where you start to think that the side quests are the main quest. And now you don't know which direction you need to go. And so I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to write down a real life quest log and just look at it and reflect on it and think, are these quests necessary to build my character? Are these things that I could do, things that I should do? And as I was thinking about this concept for this video, this idea of the quest log was something that kind of kept coming up in my mind. And I think it's because I realized that the quest log is a suite of options. It's not a suite of obligations. Because realistically, when you go on one of those quests, it's going to lead to 2 more. It's going to lead to 3 more. It's going to lead to 1 more. And you can't finish life 100%. You can't do every single possible thing that you could have done in life, because there's endless possibilities. It's the most open world game that there is. And sometimes you got to let stuff go, right? And you could be in the middle of a main quest, and some random NPC just comes up to you and asks you to do something for them. And I don't know if this happens to you, but this happens to me all the time, right? Where I have a certain skill set, I have a certain ability to do certain things, and someone will just ask me out of nowhere, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? And it's a bit of a boundary test, because I'm in the zone right now, and I'm going this way, and you're asking me to go that way. And you have to learn how to say no. Especially if you're the type of person who says yes too much. And if you're the kind of person who says no too much, then you're the kind of person who needs to learn how to say yes. But it's a balance. It's a balance. And ultimately, there's no one way to do this thing. And you could even make the argument that there's no such thing as a main quest in life. And there's only side quests. And you can just go on whatever path you want to go on. But in my experience, my conscience wants me to go a specific way. And that specific way can be modified in the ways in which that way is manifest, if that makes sense. But ultimately, there's a fixedness to my path, to my destiny, to your destiny, right? To your main quest. That's my personal opinion. I don't know how, I don't know where it comes from, but I think it speaks to you in inspiration when you're sitting around and you're well rested and you get excited and I should really do this thing, or I really want to do that thing, or I'm really feeling compelled in this direction. Or when you are straying from the path, it can sound a little bit more like anxiety, of like, something's wrong about this. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm in limbo. I feel like I'm drifting. And that place of drifting is that place of taking on way too many side quests and losing access to your conscience, losing access to the voice that tells you which way you need to go. And I'm open to changing this perspective, but I can't help but shake the feeling that there's a direction that I'm ultimately going to go on. And I don't know what it looks like. I didn't write the story. I'm just the character, right? But certain quests are highlighted in my life. You know what I mean? They have extra aura. They call to me a little bit more than these other ones. And then I think certain other quests are like the exact opposite, where you hear about them, someone asks you something, and the reaction inside you is, ugh, right? Do I really have to go and fetch 10 apples and bring them to Johnny for 20 gold coins? Do I really need to do that? Do you really need to do that? If you're in touch with yourself, you'll feel that some of these quests are necessary and some of them are extra. Now, just as a quick example of side quests, I think this van here in the background is a bit of a side quest of my own personal life. I bought and built out this van, and it took me so much longer than I thought it was going to. And I am really happy with the outcome, but I also recognize that it was not necessary. Now, the skills that it helped me develop, woodworking, painting, electrical stuff, right? There's skills that it brought me, and then there's an outcome that it brought me, which is that I have a little house on wheels. And now this little house on wheels side quest has opened up so many possibilities for my main quest, where if I am, like, I'm in an apartment at the moment, but if all of a sudden I don't have that apartment anymore, then this is going to change the decision that I make, right? Because I could live in here for a few months, and I could use that period of time to find the next quest by utilizing the item that I got out of this side quest. And so certain side quests are humongous. This one was absolutely massive. And my hope is that it helps speed me up later on when I get back on the path of the main quest. But it might not. It might have been a complete waste of time. So you never know with side quests, but with main quests, you do know. You do know. You know that every single time that you push forward on that, you're getting closer to the ending. But there's no rush. And you can always come back to that quest log, and you can do something 5 years from now for someone. You can do something 2 weeks from now, 3 days from now. Whenever you want to do these quests, you can do them. Or you can just let them go. And that is a really powerful realization, is that you just don't have to do all of these things just because some random NPC asked you to do it. And yeah, I think that's something to think about, something I've been thinking about. And this video, I would say, is part of me coming back to my main quest. So happy to see you, and happy to see me doing this again. So with that being said, I hope this was useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.